The sales in China were actually very good. We had high single-digit revenue growth in China. And of course, many people are interested, how is the consumer business doing in China? Well, our personal health business even grew double-digit. So if I then go a bit broader worldwide, Philips is renowned for its innovations and solutions for hospitals. We saw a 11% order growth in the quarter. That underlines that our innovations are well in demand, and that also bodes well for the future. We saw that basically across the board in diagnosis and treatment, but also in connected care and health informatics. The profit improvement of 40 basis points on the operating income could have been a bit higher if it were not for currency headwinds, which were sizable in the emerging markets. It's something that, of course, we will compensate as we go forward. So not a structural issue, but something that just was a headwind in the quarter.
And just to pick up on that comment about the currency headwinds, as you mentioned, there has been a bit of an emerging market rout as far as those currencies are concerned. Are you thinking about hedging some of that exposure in the future? Do you anticipate further dollar strengthening versus the rest of these currencies?
Well, the emerging market suffer a bit from all the unrest in the world. It's difficult to hedge for emerging markets. So usually we compensate for it by increasing prices over time. The rest of the world, we have much more of a natural hedge, and there we can also take hedges as a matter of course. The other thing that we saw coming is the start of duties and sanctions. Again, something that we are concerned about. But I want to reiterate that overall Philips is on track to meet its goal of the 4 to 6% growth this year, as well as an improvement of, on average, 100 basis points of operating profit improvement. And we also expect to be able to continue to do that in the next years, never mind those headwinds.
Frans, let me just unpick that comment a little bit more about around sanctions and duties, because the market's been very concerned about how this plays out directly in many different companies. Just give us a sense of exactly what the dynamics are for you when it comes to these tariffs and sanctions.
Well, we see, of course, what happens between the United States and China. That will result in sizable duties. Our response will be that we will try to redesign our supply chains. We will look for further productivity improvements. And where possible, we will also look at pricing in order to offset these duties and sanctions. It is something that is undesirable. I'm a big believer in global trade and an open world. But it is something that we'll deal with, and that also we believe that also for next year we are going to be able to compensate.
Okay, Frans, let me ask you about some other areas of the business, because just reading through the first couple of paragraphs, what jumps out has been some of the expectations around the personal health business, where you say compared to the first half of 2018, the recovery was slower than expected, as a good growth in your geographies was partially offset by lower growth in mature geographies. So clearly this trade-off between developed and emerging. So just tell us what is happening there and where you see any correction in those inequalities that have been flaring up.
Well, I think everybody was keen to look for that step up in growth, which did happen. We also were very pleased with the double-digit growth of personal health in China. Where the markets were a bit slow, it was basically in the United States and in Europe, with consumer sentiment a bit more modest. At the same time, you know, we have launched several new products in the quarter. The new high-end shaver that I actually used this morning, that is very well in demand. We also see that our sleep and respiratory care products, among which the Trilogy Evo on the go, provides solutions for people with respiratory issues. So I expect actually that the demand will further improve as we go forward in the year. And that therefore we are delivering on our earlier statement that the second half year for personal health will be stronger than the first half.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.